Hello guys, hope you're doing well, and today we have another our YouTube video where we're gonna talk about whether does it work to start your own brokerage real estate company or not. Yeah, so that's gonna be our topic, and I will be answering the 10 the most frequently asked questions. So our topic name is starting a real estate brokerage in Dubai. Is it worth it in 2025? So I'm gonna go through every single question. Meantime, hit the like button, subscribe, and so I'm starting. So the question number one we have got here: how much capital do I need to start a real estate brokerage company in Dubai in 2025? So technically, guys, this is what I'm gonna tell you. So to start a company, that's not difficult at all. It's more of making this company profitable. So you can literally start the company, let's say like within 2-3 weeks you can have a company established, but it's not really about this to start a company. It's more of a making your company profitable. That's the main biggest challenge. Now, coming back to the question, how much capital do I need? So you would need approximately around 50,000 dirhams for all the licenses, is to get your trade license and a RERA office registration certificate. And then you need an office space. If you're gonna go with some flexi desk or co-working space, you're gonna spend, let's say, around like up to 2,000 dirhams per flexi desk, yeah. Or if you're gonna go with a full-fledged office, I believe you're gonna need at least like 30 to 40,000 dirhams just to take the smallest and very simple office. If you're gonna go, let's say, with an average office, so then you're gonna plus have another like 100 to 200,000 dirhams as money to pay towards your office. And then moving on, the marketing cost will be maybe the highest one, because you need to generate, let's say, buyers inquiries, and then the sellers as well, and the salaries, because you're going to need, let's say, some admin stuff, some marketing people in your office, some accountant maybe. So technically, I would say in the first year you're going to need, let's say, like around 300 to 400,000 dirhams, just like at least to have some proper start, the minimum start fee, being comfortable. This is what I would say. It can go way beyond that, depending on your requirements. Now, as I said, to start a real estate company is not difficult at all. The biggest challenge is to make this company profitable and up and running. Yeah. So let me now go to question number 2. What licenses and approvals are required to open a brokerage company? So technically, you're going to need 3 licenses. License number 1 is called a trade license by Dubai Economy Department. This is the one where you pay, let's say, up to 50,000 dirhams. But here's the thing. For some licenses, the payment voucher generated by Dubai Economy Department can be, let's say, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. It completely depends on the activity that you're enrolled, because sometimes the payment vouchers might be coming very high and sometimes very low. It's just like, so nobody knows it before. This is what the Dubai Economy Department generates at the time you're applying. So I personally don't think it should be more than 50,000 dirhams. For example, like our license renewal, and per annum, if I'm not mistaken, we pay around 50,000 dirhams. So if you issue something similar or a similar license, I believe your cost towards it will be 50,000 dirhams. So that was your license number 1, which is a trade license or registration of your company. The second license would be to get a RERA office registration certificate. So based on your trade license, then you need to go to Dubai Land Department and get a kind of a permission or certificate or a license to operate in the real estate market of Dubai. So that's going to be your second license. That's not expensive at all. And the third license will be the broker license. Let's say if you're the company owner, or if you're going to be the manager in the trade license, it doesn't matter whether you're the owner or you're just going to manage the real estate company. In both cases, you need a broker license. So the broker license would cost you around, let's say, 525 dirhams, and plus it will cost you an examination. For the examination, you're going to pay 700 plus dirhams. So these are the main 3 licenses for you to obtain and to start working. Let's now go to question number 3. Do I need to be an experienced broker to open my own company? So technically, you don't need to be an experienced broker to open your real estate company. However, I don't think it will be the right way to do if you have got no experience in Dubai's real estate to start a real estate company, because the business is very volatile, it's very dynamic, and it's very competitive. So therefore, I would definitely recommend not to step into opening a real estate company if you haven't got a very strong and solid experience. Because, so technically, let's imagine you start without an experience in real estate company. So if you don't know that, you need to hire somebody who knows it. Now imagine you don't know it, but the person you hired knows it. Then I don't think this is a great combination. You as an owner and hiring a manager who knows everything while you don't know anything. So therefore, my advice would be to start real estate company only in case if you have a good, if you have got a good, strong, solid experience, network, and the list of investors or clients. Let's go to question number 4. How many agents do I need to hire to start? For example, like personally me, when I started a real estate company, it was just me running alone myself, or I call it a one-man show. So then gradually I was expanding the team. So for example, if you want to start a real estate company, let's say not like me who was just like starting from scratch, renting a co-working space, just a flexi desk. If you don't want to go with this kind of through the or on this way, so you can go with bigger investments, let's say like up to 300, 400 or maybe $500,000 dirham to get a proper office, hire managers, hire HR, accountant, marketers, and then hire the brokers. For example, I started just running myself alone, and that was pretty okay because I kind of got a basic idea, so I could run the business initially just on my own, being just a one-man show. Now, for example, however, would I recommend you to start in the same way? I would not recommend you to start in the same way if you have got some, let's say like savings or some investments. Yeah. Now, let's say if you're going to start a company with some investments, yeah, like a proper investments, renting a proper office, I would say that you would need, let's say, at least 10 brokers to start with. Yeah. So, moving on to question number 5. What are the biggest ongoing expenses for running a brokerage company? So I touched it in a previous question. So technically your office rent going to be one of the biggest expenses. Then your salaries you're going to pay to your stuff, and then your let's say marketing expenses can be whether a property portal or a lead generation or social media. So these 3 I would say going to be the biggest chunks of your expenses. Yeah, so it's office, it's salaries, and it is marketing. Yeah, so and moreover, you need to generate every month profit to just cover up these expenses. Yeah, so let's go to question number 6. How do I recruit and retain top performing agents? Now, let's say, I would say based on my personal like subjective experience, if you haven't got a reputation, I think it would be nearly maybe impossible or at least extremely challenging to hire experienced real estate brokers, because experienced real estate brokers, they stick to people who have got reputation, because when they close deals, they want to be sure that they're going to get paid. They want to be sure that the person won't run away with their commissions, with their money. Moreover, they want to be in a team of a great leader. So I would say to hire experienced agents is going to be one of the biggest challenge for you to sort out or to solve. And to solve it, maybe you can go by offering a higher commission percentages, but actually it doesn't work. For example, even if you offer, let's say like 10-15% more, people still feel insecure to work with people who are not standing strong on their feet, yeah, who are not standing strong on their feet or still don't have enough credit of reputation. For example, like in my case, it was just hiring people whoever would want to work with me independently, whether they're experienced or not, and then gradually I would train these people. And you won't believe, even one of my first agents ever and my first admin staff, they're still like in my team, and many of them, they just joined completely fresh, and then I would train them, share the knowledge, so everything worked out very well. So coming back, if you're starting from scratch, let's say with 0 credits in terms of a trust, then this is going to be your biggest challenge. Even if you offer higher packages, people still feel insecure because you might be paying them more right now, but they don't know where you're going to be, let's say after 6 months or after 1 year. So therefore, this will be the biggest challenge. I would recommend hiring fresh and then trying to train them gradually. I think this would be the best one, because even the experienced agents coming, they will be coming with their own bad habits. Okay, moving on to next question number 7. What role does compliance, AML, KYC, record keeping play in a brokerage survival? So technically, Well, the moment you start a brokerage company, as I said, that's, by the way, the easiest part, yeah? So if you're going into a brokerage business, the easiest part is just like to establish the company and just like to start running it. That's the easiest part. The most difficult part comes right afterwards, because being a great salesman doesn't mean you're going to be a great businessman, or it doesn't mean that you're going to be a great manager. At the same time, if you're let's say, if you're a great manager, doesn't mean you're going to be a great salesperson. So therefore, the moment you establish the brokerage, you hire your first people, but then there are going to be a lot of other challenges in terms of let's say administrative challenges, such as like you have to comply with the Emiratization rule, where when you hire expatriates, you also need to hire local people as well. And don't forget, you need to pay them the salary of at least between 4,000 to 5,000 dirhams, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so that's one challenge. Then another challenge is you have to be paying the taxes, let's say the value-added taxes from all the commissions which you earned if your total turnover is more than 365,000 dirhams per year. And also don't forget, you also need to pay a corporate tax, which is a 9% of your net profit of the company. And then also there are other administrative challenges, such as like issuing visas, canceling the visas, sick leaves, etc. Yeah, so now coming back to AML, right? AML policies or KYCs, this is another big, not a challenge, but I would say a huge number of rules that you as a company, you need to comply with. Because simply if you don't comply with the AML rules, there are very heavy penalties and fines. So therefore, it's extremely important to comply with AML, keep the KYCs, and keep the records of all your customers. So what role does compliance play in a broker's survival? I would say it plays a very vital and very important role. Yeah, so let's go now to question number 8. How long does it usually take for a new brokerage to become profitable? So I would say for any business, when you just started to become profitable, I would say always you need to keep it at least for 3 years. So you need to be able to run the company at least for 3 years, even though there are losses. A lot of people, let's say, being a great sales brokers, let's say real estate brokers, the next step they try to start a real estate company. Unfortunately, after 1 or 2 years, many of these companies, they shut it down. And these people, they lose a lot of money, they lose a lot of credibility and trust of people. So therefore, a very wise step would be to make a proper calculation and be very, very careful with your expenses. Coming back to the question, at least 3 years, the company must be able to survive. A lot of companies might practice initially hiring people with higher salaries, and then after, let's say, a couple of months, when the company faces a certain challenge, they simply don't pay the wages and the salaries or the commissions to their employees. So that is something to be considered and to be very, very careful about. Now let's go to question number 9. Is it better to specialize in one area, niche, or go wide across Dubai? So personally, I would say, for me personally, based on my experience, I would say definitely to be specializing on a particular segment of the market. I'm not going to call it an area, not a geographical area, but let's say a segment of the market. You don't necessarily need to be focusing, let's say, on blue waters. It can be like the seafront segment of the market. It can be blue waters, beachfront, let's say Palm Jumeirah, and so on. I would say the very right step to start a brokerage company, in case if you decided to go into that, would be to pick the segment of the market you're gonna focus on. There will be a lot of challenges because you can get initially the customers who are, let's say, for different segments rather than yours. So that's one of the challenges for you to tackle and to handle in your business. So I would definitely, my answer to this question would be to go with a particular segment of the market. And question number 10, which is the last for this video, would be, what are the main reasons new brokerage fail in Dubai? So as I said, the first reason, I would say, management and the leadership, because a lot of real estate companies were opened by ex-brokers. So they were working in a company as a broker. Let's say they accumulated some capital, they closed, let's say, a number of deals which helped them to gain some money, and then the next step, they believe that they can do the same just being a company owner. However, it's very important to consider, when you are a company owner or a manager, it's almost impossible to be engaged in the sales as a full-time broker. That's one of the biggest traps. So these people who were, let's say, great salespeople, they start their company which again, as I said, great salesperson doesn't mean a great manager or a great businessman. And then they start facing all the challenges of very tough and very competitive market in Dubai. Because in Dubai, here are a lot of people from all over the countries, and usually those who are coming, usually there are risk takers, or I would say the best ones, and it's sometimes very hard to compete with them. So the reason number one why brokerage companies they fail, I would say weak leadership, because the person has got an experience in sales but not in a management or leadership. The second reason I would say is not being prepared for all the expenses, because he thinks that after 1 or 2, 3 months he's gonna have some profit and he's gonna rely on it further down the line. As I said, the person should be ready financially at least to run at least 3 years with no profit. Yeah, that's my recommendation. And I would say lack of system, lack of experience of how to build the operation within the company, and lack of marketing. This is what I would say. And also I would add maybe lack of quality salespeople who are able to convert the incoming inquiries or leads into closed deals. So I would technically highlight these main reasons why people fail. I hope, guys, this very short brief about starting a business in Dubai, let's say a brokerage business, I hope you really enjoyed it and you like it. I would be very thankful if you could support me, subscribe, hit the like button so I can keep recording some useful content from people around the world who are interested about Dubai and Dubai's real estate market. Thank you very much, and I wish you a great day ahead. If you have any questions, go to comment section below and I'll be very glad to answer. Thank you.